After you get older, you be like, anyway, you ignorant bastard, fuck you, and you walk off. You don't even give a fuck no more. If you still think that that shit fucking with me, whatever. you know,
Hmm.
it's just crazy. Well, I think the thing that drives me that the issue that I have in this point where you're talking about all these cases and everything, this is the age old problem, you know, like hundreds of years, really. Not even the 50, 60, you know what I'm saying? With back in Martin Luther King and shit, slavery never really ended, in many ways, you know. But the the thing that irritates me the most, especially now that you have this conservative mouthpiece that you've had for 30 years, conservatives own media, you know what I'm saying? Radio, television, you know what I'm saying? Their view is the norm, you know what I'm saying? Uh, what they don't get is when black people be complaining about shit that be done to black people. It's not just about black people. Like if Trayvon Martin was white boy, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And some stranger on the street followed him home and all this good stuff, and he just started following him and made him suspicious, and he ended up dead, and the person that killed him ended up at home that very night. You know what I'm saying? I would be just as upset. You know what I'm saying? I would be just as outraged. You know, and that's the thing that they do not believe. They think that because they don't give a fuck about us, we don't give a fuck about them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And see that as long as that exists, you know what I'm saying? Long as you know that, oh well, they don't give a fuck about me, so I don't give a fuck about them, or vice versa, or whatever. As long as some animosity exists on that side, we ain't gonna never get it past this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Never. I've been watching that shit all my life. I stay right in Mississippi. You know, you know, and it's crazy. You shake your head at it. White people down here shake our head at it, but we know we still got a part of this population that just can't let that shit go. They just can't do it. They can't do it. You know, black people and white people, for real, they cannot let it go.
Yes, realistically, it does exist
Oh
on
yeah,
both sides of the spectrum because some black peoples have slave mentalities. Uh,
yeah.
they have this crab in a bucket ass mentality that if you do try to make a change, they'll come against you. You be like, I'm trying to fight for your punk ass, And
But it's still part of if you raised in the United States of America, you're racist. No, it don't matter what color you are. You're biased toward African Americans, even if you're black African American. Everybody, all of us are. That's what we were. That's the way we were raised, educated, everything. You know what I'm saying? For real. It's just like this. You as a black person raised in the United States, I bet you. Tell me if I'm wrong. Now, that's why I'm telling you what I'm guessing. Okay, but I bet you at some time in some of this shit had this feeling where, okay, maybe this time they're actually going to do the right thing. I don't believe it. I believe it when I see it. But maybe this time they're actually going to do the right thing. Maybe this time they're actually going to take our lives seriously like they would a white boy if he got shot down on the street. You know what I'm saying? Or he got choked out by the police. You know what I'm saying? Or if a motherfucker rolled up on him in 2 seconds and he a little boy on the playground gunned his ass down. You know what I'm saying? If
Mhm.
if we finally figure, oh, this time they gonna do it. This time they gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And they don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And it over your lives are all those microaggressions, just like the one that I was just telling you about, those microaggressions where people have said stuff to me and it was straight racist. I could have got offended and said so, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, all those microaggressions build up. You know what I'm saying? They build up
Right.
where you expect it. Everybody just expect it. You know what I'm saying? They know it ain't right. But you accept it because that's the way it's always gone. You know what I'm saying? That bias builds up. You know what I'm saying? regard if you, especially when people are encouraging you not to look at stuff, from a historical perspective with black people and white people in this country, you know, never mind the citizenry. You know what I'm saying? The white people, yeah, they did horrible things to their fellow citizens or whatever, right? But the true grievance, the reason why they were doing it, because the shit was legal. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The government of the United States of America committed the grievance that needs reparations against Black America. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Everybody else got their reparations. The Japanese got their reparations for internment. The Irish got their reparations for how they put them in the slums when they first immigrated. You know, all that shit. Everybody got their reparations except for black folks. You know what I'm saying? So we still a bit.
Wait a minute. Now that don't that's some that is a little bit not is running on kind of like the not true side, because we did get reparations. We were given 30 acres in the mule.
Nah, we were promised 40 acres and a
I mean, 40 acres in a mule, and let me tell you something too about reparations. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Even if people didn't get their 40 acres in a mule, when black folks parents and things like that, and they came up and they got their own businesses and own property and stuff like that, it's their own children, their inheritance, that didn't appreciate all the hard work they went through to
Oh,
let the properties get ran down, took it over, didn't pay taxes. That's still going on right now today.
but see, you gotta. It all depends on where you start. See, this is what I'm saying about in a vacuum. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying
So
is, if people give you reparations, you don't do nothing with it. Who fault is that if you still on bottom?
yeah, I know it, but that's the point. If they had of given reparations, right then, you know, the slave owners were made whole after Emancipation Proclamation. You know what I'm saying? They paid for the loss of their slaves, but the free slaves, were never given that 40 acres and a mule. Never. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Everything from that point on to about 5 or 6 years after that point, nothing but harm still came to African Americans. What you're talking about right now, about, hey, how we all live in the slums and all this good stuff, that was the United States government. You know what I'm saying? They gave white America a leg up on black people. The Fair Housing Act, all of that after World War II, where your ass they made communities where this was the start of the 30-year mortgage. Before then, you had to slap half that money down and pay that shit off in 5 years. FDR basically created the middle class with the New Deal. That's what all of this part was part of, and that was for white folks only. That meant that average middle class factory worker, or whatever, teacher or whatever, could go get a decent job, and this was a median. It was subsidized by the government, so hey, they could get in those houses, raise a family, acquire wealth because they own this property, and then pass that down to their children. Okay, 15, 20, 30 years later, when it's finally opened up to black people, they already got a 30-year head start in wealth, passing wealth down to sending their children through college, education, good jobs, to go through the whole thing again. By the time it's these same communities are finally opened up to black people, you know what I'm saying? They've been priced out the market. These houses are not reasonably priced anymore. Plus, the prejudice still exists. You know what I'm saying? You come into that neighborhood, they move out. You know what I'm saying? They take all of that capital gain that they already ahead of black people. You know what I'm saying? And move it somewhere else. I've seen that just in my 30-year lifespan. I know all of this started way of my 40-some-year lifespan, but in the last 30 years, I remember this like this was yesterday, Candy. This is crazy. Yeah, but My senior year of high school, 1991, I remember our local newspaper, the Clarion Ledger, had a damn headline in 1991 was and the title was The Great White Flight. You know, this was the year after the census. And in those previous 10 years, you know what I'm saying? All about half of the white people moved out of the capital city of Jackson. The Great White, they were gone. You know what I'm saying? And that move has been happening all my life. When the first mall, when I was a kid, everybody went downtown and shopped. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We had our first mall, but our first mall was in a historically black neighborhood, black area. So it really didn't take off. That mall closed within 3 or 4 years. They
Mm-hmm.
built another mall, the Metro Center, that was in a white neighborhood that time, right? You know, it flourished. We started moving over there. They started moving somewhere else. They moved north of the city. You know what I'm saying? Built a mall out there so they ain't have to deal with us. You know what I'm saying? We started moving out there. Now in the last decade, I moved our father out in the suburbs and everything. What kind of effect does that have on this city in particular? This is the capital city. Most of the good jobs are in the capital city. You know what I'm saying? But the residents of the capital city don't hold those good jobs. You know what I'm saying? The residents of the surrounding cities, the surrounding suburbs, drive into Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Make the capital, and then they take it back out in the Flowood, Ridgeland, Madison, all of that good stuff, and that's where they pay their property taxes, spend their sales taxes, and all that. So that done left Jackson a crime-ridden, uh, you know, uh, toe-up streets and all this. This is the capital city. But the neighboring county, the neighboring city has the highest per capita income in the damn state, and they don't make shit in the damn county. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. That is a result of a whole lot of shit that happened a long time ago. It's been a direct result of actions taken. That harmed black people. You know what I'm saying? The idea of reparations in the classic sense now would not work. You know what I'm saying? What you're saying would happen would exactly happen if they get back in you remember the movie Barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
Doggone Cedric Entertainer said it right. Reparations right now wouldn't do nothing but make Cadillac the number one dealership in the country because
Right.
that's all. You know what I'm saying? It's too late for that. You know what I'm saying? But how about some investment in our neighborhoods? How about some investment in our schools? How about going into all these jails and helping these brothers turn their lives around and become productive members of society instead of ostracizing all of them? This and the blacks can't do that.
They just choose to do other stuff.
But but see, a lot of times you
No.
get caught up. I'm telling you, you get caught up in stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I,
Doggone.
I used to go to, I'm sure you heard of prison ministry, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people that dedicate their whole lives. There are different organizations that provide different types of services and those services, because they are a nonprofit. Whenever you form a nonprofit, and I know because I have one, legal, federal approved. Whenever you form a nonprofit, you have to define what type of services you will provide to the disenfranchised, and you also have to specify what group of people that will benefit from your services. All right. So these particular services that these groups offer are only accessible to people that have been in prison, and people of those same groups and disenfranchisement that you are speaking of. Okay, black people and minorities, by far. There are so many agencies and benefits for us. You don't have no Like they got the NAACP, they got minorities business corporation that help you get your business started and stuff like that. And people, now we gotta keep it real now, okay? Just because a person don't know about those benefits or don't know about it and don't use, because I have told people about it, and they was like, they knew more about it than me, and I was like, so please tell me why you're not using these services. Why are you still talking about the white man keeping you down, and you knew perfectly well, you knew better than me what type of options and services. I was so excited, I was trying to share it with you. I just found out about it. You've been knowing about it, they say, for, you know, and then they have nerve enough, no audacity to brag about how long they've been knowing about it. Like, so you mean to tell me you've been knowing about it 10 years? Not only did you not do nothing about it, utilize those services that were available to you for your benefit and for your heritage and for your family to prosper and live better, but not only did you give your family that injustice of not utilizing, but you also didn't even pass the information up, like I'm sharing it with them to try to help them. They ain't told nobody else about it because they so crab mentality oriented that they ain't gonna use it and they ain't gonna get to nobody else for them to know about it, tell nobody else about it.
Yeah. I mean, all of that is war. Yeah. See what the thing, when I started talking about this, I'm not making excuses for a motherfucker that don't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, you know, some people have already been socialized. You know what I'm saying? They already been there. You know, it's gonna take a lot to break. You can lead their ass to what they supposed to do, but it's only so far you can take their ass. Like I was telling you the other day, yeah, it's only so far you can take their ass. All you do is put that shit in there, put that bread on the table, and it's up to them to feed that. Cause I ain't motherfucking feeding you, you grown ass, and you're able bodied. You gonna put that shit in your mouth if you want to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's that. I mean, I understand that, but yeah, it's a lot of fucked up people, you know, that's in jail. Yeah, a lot of innocent people ain't did shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of brothers in jail for broken tail lights. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, gosh.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
this is
my whole point is that
we'll say, all right, because I've been in jail and I was innocent for that particular crime. All right, but I had done other stuff that I didn't go to jail for, so I really wasn't innocent. Okay, so let's keep it real. You do got people's in there like I don't know. I've been in jail for a fucking ticket that I didn't really deserve. So many damn time I couldn't even count it, and even one time I had 3 tickets back to back. They pulled me over in one day, and the judge dismissed all of them. She said, "Now this just ridiculous." He said, "You just was having a bad day, wasn't you?" He didn't want to reprimand the police in front of me because that would be undermining their authority. But you can tell she was by the look on her face. You know how sometimes people make a face and they don't really want to express how they feel verbally, but the look on their face be telling it all. She was pissed off. She said, and then she made a little comment basically like, I don't know why these officers didn't. Did you tell them? She never did finish her sentences, but I knew what she said. Did you tell him you had already been arrested earlier that day? You know, arrest mean pulled over. It don't mean taken to jail.
Yeah.
And so she said, did you tell him you had already received a ticket when you got the 7th one and the 3rd one? I said I sure did. They wrote it anyhow. Matter of fact, the dude that wrote the 3rd one, he said. He told me how many they was allowed to give me in one day. Or either he told me they didn't have no limit to how many they can give me in one day or something like that. But anyway, he was being very defiant and abusive of the of the liberty that they could write me as many as they wanted or whatever like that, and they hadn't, or if it was a limit, they hadn't exceeded it yet. You even consider that, goddamn, she already got two. So I mean, and this was in process, like not that I'm just riding around all willy-nilly and violating all kind of laws. None of them was traffic violations. None of them was moving violations. They all had to do with legislative issues. And I told the law, I say, in order for me to get my inspection sticker, I got to go get the parts and get the get things suitable for inspection. Like you got, I'm here to part house right here. I got my receipt showing that I just came from the part house and bought a part, and now I got to go back and let the mechanic put it on there. He didn't care nothing about that. It was ego driving him at that point. All right, I pulled you over, and I'm gonna give you a ticket. All right, but most of the people that you talking about that are in jail and are really innocent or just in there by high minute stuff, I was the minority as far as actually somebody trying to get their shit together and was just being harassed. All right, but a lot of these dudes, I mean, they will have $600 iPhones, $300 Jordans, and won't fix a tail light or won't buy no insurance.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Am I lying?
No, you're not. But I'm saying, you know,
So my
it's a lot of a lot of that bullshit is the shit that they don't ground. They think that's the shit. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah.
think that's what they supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? The level of oppression that you already in, you got to make the bullshit that you're going through seem like something positive. You know what I'm saying? I understand why they do it. I think it's bullshit, but I understand what they doing. That's what they doing. It's bullshit though. Why not just change the bullshit? You know?
Right.
Uh, I know what you're saying though. That shit is infuriating because you can't. All you can do is tell them people. That's all you can do. That's what's horrible. You know?
Not only are they making bad decisions like that, but they will literally fight you
Oh yeah.
for trying to get them to do something positive or do the right thing. I'm not saying this hypothetically. I'm saying it because I have had to whoop a motherfucker down because they were trying to fight me, or either whether it be physically or verbally. I had to chop their asses up in a million pieces simply because they fight me and I'm trying to help them.
That's it.
See, now, it come a point now, all right, just like I happen to be black, and I'm part of that. I was born in that same environment.
That same bullshit.
So
Yep.
you can't say, well, you on the outside looking in. Okay, I was born in the same environment as Jay was. Now, but at the same time, just like I chose to better myself, not just with education, but mentally. All right, uh, and my siblings don't have the same type of. I mean, we both was brought up in the same exact environment. Okay, so that right there
Uh-oh. Hello? Yeah, you came back.
All right. But where it was I left off. I was raised with the same in the same environment as my siblings, right?
Yeah.
And we are like night and day, uh, as far as mentalities. Okay, we was both when we was being taught and trained. We were both taught, all of the six of us. I can't say that for my one of my baby sisters because she was raised by my auntie, but five of us were all there together. We were all taught the same things. We were all raised with the same morals, principles, and whether it be was a rough background or a rough environment. We raised it in poverty, whatever like that. And then some parts of the time we were in a suburban area, so we experienced both sides, both sides of the spectrum. All right. Now, being said, I am the only one out of all my siblings. All right, that pulled away from that frame of mind.
Yay.
I've had my own. Not only was I the least of them all, okay, as far as because I was born mentally retarded, okay. So my point to you is, all odds was against me.
Yeah.
The odds, I was the one that was raped. Molested. I've been raped. I never even got the opportunity to decide who I gonna break my virginity to because I've been molested ever since I was a little baby. All right.
Yeah.
And out of all the children, I've been molested all the way up. Okay, from little bitty infant that I can remember all the way up. Okay. And matter of fact, not too long ago, when I was in a homeless shelter, and a couple of years ago, whatever, white woman in there violated me. All right. So this been going on for 40 years. Okay.
And you still standing, baby. You still standing.
I'm still making it. I'm not letting that be no cloak for me to cave in and give up. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is with all odds against me, I was born mentally retarded. I've been raped and molested, so that's gonna fuck with your mentality, and your mental state, and stuff like this here. And I ain't had no degrees or none of that. But out of all my siblings, those that didn't even have all of those elements, extra elements, besides us being poverty stricken to deal with, I had some more shit on top of it. And out of all of them, I wind up being the one. I've been at my own business almost the majority of my adulthood life. I've had some type of business all my life. In my adulthood life. In as far as reaching levels of success in life, I have exceeded them all. All right. So I said all that to say this is that choices, no matter what you've been through in life, okay, that you saying that push you in one direction or another, at any point that you want to get off that road, you can.
Maybe.
No, it ain't maybe.
Yes.
That is the truth. At any point, now you may have to suffer some consequences.
Yeah, but see,
If
I'm
you
gonna
could,
tell you, I'm gonna tell you something right here, and it's something I learned in my 40 some years. Willing and able go together. You know what I'm saying? You got to have both.
No. I
So
started my business while I was in a homeless shelter.
I know I feel what you're saying. You know what I'm
So
saying? But see, what had to happen for you to do that is not just you be willing, but you had to be willing and able to pull that off. Both of them had to be there for that to happen. This is what I'm saying. There
what
are some
made
people
what
that
made it?
there are
What
some
you tell me what made it able for me? What
because you were able. Some people would have been in your position and have been willing to do all they want to and wouldn't have been able to do it
why not?
physically, mentally.
What would have
They
stopped
are
me?
that because why anything? Why is this person better at this thing than the next person? Because they are. You know what I'm saying? That is their talents or whatever. It's just some people are able to do stuff, but they are not willing to do it, so it doesn't get done.
Mhm.
Willing and able got to go together. That's what I'm telling you. It's the same thing you're saying where you see people in the prison and they have all the potential. You see that they actually can do it, right? They actually have the ability. But the problem is they do not have the will. You know what I'm saying? And there are people that have the will to do right. They have the will to do everything, but they just can't do. It's got to do. They are physically unable to do, physically, mentally, spiritually, some deficiency that they cannot do it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that being able is something that cannot be overcome, but for something to happen in that moment in time, both of them have to align at the same damn time. You have to be willing and able to do whatever. I could be willing to be a center for the Chicago Bulls, but I am not able. You know what I'm saying? But I know some guys that's able to do it, but they don't want to play no professional ball. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's the thing that you have to take into account for those. It's got to be both of them. You know what I'm saying? They have to make that happen for themselves, just like you made it happen for you. You know what I'm saying? You what I'm saying is you were willing and you got to able because you was willing. You know what I'm saying? You might not at the moment in time that you first were willing, you might not have had the ability at that time, but you did what it took to make that ability match up with willing, did you not? Right? You did what you had to do, right?
Mm.
You had to know what you had to do. You had to know the
I
right
was more
plans.
willing.
You had to
I
know
was
the right
more
actions. You had to know the right people to talk to. You
willing.
had to know the right investments to do and everything, right?
Mm-mm. I didn't know none of that.
I know you didn't, but you found it out, right?
Yeah, but I found it out in the library where the information is free.
Okay, that's just what I'm talking about. That at that particular time you wasn't able, but you knew you had to get to able to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? You could have just sat on your ass and been, oh well, I'm gonna start my own business and everything. But you know, at that particular time you weren't able, so you went to the library and you got able. You know what I'm saying? You got the knowledge that you needed. That's why it happened for you. It's plenty of people that come up with ideas all the time, and they ain't fit to do a damn thing about making it happen.
I made a lot of sacrifices. Going to the library, I could have went to the library and got the information all day long about how to get things done. But when it all boiled down to it, I had to at some point. You there? Oh, you there? All right. Maybe his internet. Internet. I guess at some point, they'll lie. You back? All right. Hi. I wonder why this thing is saying that there's people in, and yet it's not showing up here in the feed. Okay. But anyway, we have to continue on. So let's see what we was talking about as far as different issues that the Black culture many times some of the difficulties that we face as a race of people. And Quincy was pointing out some of the mental restraints that Black people have taken on or been inflicted with some type of mental boundaries. And he's correct in that aspect, in that perspective, considering those facts that for Black people, that is a reality that they face and deal with mental boundaries. Okay, and many times those mental boundaries, coupled with the boundaries that they have to overcome in society itself, when they go out to try to accomplish and do things, the opposition that they face is very realistic. It is a reality for people. There's no denying that at all. I would dare not to even, I wouldn't even attempt to try to negate that is a reality, because first of all, we saying that this is real talk. So if we gonna keep it real, we're gonna have to face the fact that that is a reality for many Black people, that They have been suppressed in different in their mind, just as much as the fact that when they go out to attempt to do productive things in our society, and this is it's something that I have experienced, and it is very much so a reality for me that racism still exists. Okay, so but what is also, if we're gonna keep it real all the way around, we can't, like I said, we can't be unbalanced one way or the other. If we gonna bring up the issues of being suppressed as a people from outsiders, we got to address the issues that and the fact that we also need to address that the fact that we have to also deal with suppression, oppression, and depression, and all oppressions, as well, that we deal with interrace within our race and from our own race of people. Okay, from our own culture. So, because we got to, if we gonna find a solution to the problem, we gotta identify the problem in its entirety. Trying to identify a problem and to kind of avoid addressing the different variables that are directly related to the issue and the root of the problem. It's going to make it more difficult to find a solution if you don't address all the variables that are directly involved with the problem. And like I said before, you can't address something you don't know nothing about or that you're not familiar with. Okay. So, but if we are familiar with the variables, then to blatantly or to purposely and consciously eliminate addressing those issues is not wise when considering a solution, because we can all it's actually purposeless to say, hey, just bring up a problem without even having a resolve to, or saying, I'm bringing up this problem, or I'm want to face this problem head on, simply because I want a solution to the problem. If you not want a solution to the problem, or even accepting responsibility for your contribution to the problem, then there can't be a reasonable solution. They're like, where is it going to come from? If you don't choose to be reasonable, where would a reasonable option come from when the problem involves you? Just like the problem involves Black people, so we can better tell you, we can better tell you what the problem, what we hate, what we experiencing. Shit, we can tell you better than anybody else. Like, this is what we're experiencing. True enough. Who else could explain that situation? But you, when you are the main one that is affected by the problem. Could nobody tell what you experiencing better than you? So I'm not saying that by any means that we should say, oh, you can't give any input into solution of the problem, knowing that you're the one experiencing it, that you would be the best one to give insight on what was really going on. That would be pointless. But what also would be pointless as far as any problem is concerned is when we want to just complain about a situation or circumstances and don't want to do anything about it productive, like coming up with a solution. We really need to, for so many years, Black people's have indulged in complaining. And I get what the brother was saying, that when you have been doing this so long, it would be difficult to it would be a task to approach the issue and deal with it head on. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I would have to speak up and say this is that just like it took a period of time to screw this crap up and make it what it is, and for it to get to this here way that it is, and it in the state that it be in this state, a condition, it's gonna take some time to undo it as well, and I would have to conclude that, hell, if it took some time to get it in the way it is right now, then the only way we gonna correct this issue and get things off on to the right path to get a solution is that we're gonna at least have to conclude that we're gonna have to agree that we gotta at least be working towards a solution. Like what I'm saying, we cannot benefit from just complaining. I'm sorry, no, we cannot do that. We cannot. We definitely cannot accomplish anything by only complaining. I'm sorry. Well, I really actually don't apologize for keeping it real, because that's real as it get. Because that's the truth of the matter. We don't have to at some point come up with a solution. Okay, everyone. We had to end the first session. We had to end the first session and start a new one because some kind of way I closed the live stream on air option. I turned it off. All right. And there's supposed to be some type of way that you can turn it back on. Since I didn't know how to re-enter or turn it back on, I had to end that session and start a new one. But everywhere where the links were for the old session, I am going back now and posting links to the new session here that's going on live here in Real Talk TV. You're welcome to join. And we want to thank Quincy for his contribution to the topic and his insight, and from his perspective as a Black male, because, like I say, anybody who's directly involved in a situation would be able to give more accurate or up close and personal details as to their accounts or experiences in any given situation. Okay, and that's real talk. We want to provide some useful information and insight as well, so that people can everybody gone. You know what I found out in my little 40 years I've been here, that I don't care how much information you give a person, and it's just like when people go to school and they get college, they get their college degrees and things like that, and they still seem to come out school, and when they go to school or wherever you give them any kind of information on something, it's just like that game gossip. We used to play. What you would do is one person give another person say something in their ear. Yeah, you familiar with the game. By the time it get down to the fifth person, it they don't even, if it's 10 people involved in the participating in the game, shit, you didn't even have to get down to the 10 person before you realize that this message is totally different from what we started out as. Shit. Shit. So even though people can be provided the maximum amount of information and knowledge and what you call that, resources, they still gonna come up with their own conclusion, okay? Because everybody have a choice, and the way people see things is from it's a their personal and individual perspective, okay? So just like Quincy was saying that on his job, he the only one that can do his job, and yet it's still when he go to do his job, and he do it and he do a good job or whatever like that, and the people that see him doing his job, instead of them giving him respect to know that he's capable of doing his job, they look upon what he doing as being easy because he does it with ease, instead of saying, okay, you must be really good at really knowledgeable of your job, or how to do your job, because you seem to do it with ease. So the way people look at things is totally perspective based. Perspective means that you came up with your own conclusions about what it is you've seen, heard, or whatever. Okay. So we can't control what these real talk sessions is not to control what your perspective of these topics are. What they are here for and available for is to provide you with a little more input to help you conclude to some more positive or conclusions, have a little more information in your database to make more reasonable, realistic conclusions. And if that makes sense. I'm hoping it makes sense because it's so practical to do that. We'd be really, we really be stupid if we attempted to try to change your perception, because that's next to impossible. Notice I didn't say that's impossible, but I said it is next to impossible, because since I don't know for sure if that is doable, I will not speak against it. But since I have no logical or reasonable reason to think it's doable, I guess I could say that we gonna try to. That's not the way we gonna go about doing that, because we want our efforts to be as productive as possible. So since we don't know that that's possible to change people's perspective, we ain't gonna try that way. Like what they say, there's a saying that say there's no sense in trying to reinvent the wheel. In other words, if people already done created and invented, innovated the wheel, that's already been done, you know. So why not just roll with it? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll with that the angle of at least trying to provide people with useful information to be able to make a wiser decision. We know that it's proven, and that's the wheel that's been turning, and ain't had no problem turning that way. We're gonna try that. We're gonna go ahead with that one. It's not feasible for us to approach it in another type of way. You know what I'm saying? We gonna try no other kind of way calls. We don't deem it necessary to go through all that. I kind of wish that Lucy could have provided for us some type of suggestions. That could help us in our endeavors, because like I say, it's easy, anybody can point out problems, but what we need is some solutions. So if anybody that can contribute, we're gonna open up the let's see, question and answer app so that whoever wants to contribute to the conversation in that manner. Maybe perhaps you don't want to come on live. You're a little shy. We know people's a little shy and everything like that. We know you're a little shy. And everything. So, you can contribute to the discussion and post questions. It'll show up here. You post a question. I think you can just click below. I don't know what link you own that you tap into this broadcast. But if you're in YouTube, let me go to it right now so I'll be aware of what I'm talking about. If you're in YouTube, you can go to Candy Johnson. That's K-A-N capital D. You can go to Candy Johnson on YouTube. And tap in and join in the live discussion, but you won't be on live if you come in via YouTube. You would need to click on the link that I'm getting ready. I'm going to go ahead and tap in to YouTube myself, and what I'm going to do is to provide for you the link in the description section of the broadcast. Now, if you go to YouTube, if you go to our YouTube channel, and that's K-A-N capital D, Candy Johnson. If you go to my YouTube channel, you will see under it says live events on there. And I don't know what's going on here because it's not even showing that there's just a live event on there right now. Let me see if I need to correct the timing on the actual event description. Yeah, it says it started today at 3 p.m., which means that it's supposed to be live right now. All right, YouTube, get your shit together. Because it should be showing what's on live right now. But it's not. I don't know why it's not showing.
Hi everyone, this is Candy, and we are live with Real Talk. Today our subject is um, how do we recognize our racial differences or cultural differences and deal with those differences. Basically, we're going to find out how to deal with those differences by, first of all, acknowledging them, all right? And then, because you can't deal with any given situation unless you acknowledge that it is a situation or it is a reality, all right? And this show is about real shit. And so, racial differences is a real issue in our society. And I didn't say in our country, which would only include the country. I would say that I'm a member of the United States or a citizen of the United States. And so that would be a little racist to make that statement and say that that racism is an issue in our country, because that is not the issue or the case. Believe it or not, although we experience racism in the country of the United States, that is an issue that people deal with. It is a people issue. And so we're going to address this people issue with some real talk. We're going to address this people issue so that we can get an understanding amongst people. All right. Many times, the reason that we have issues is because we don't understand that our actions not only affect us, but they affect the people around us.
That's right.
And we kind of live in our own world, so to speak, and we make choices in life totally independent on what we think is a reality for everybody else, when in fact it is absolutely not the case. It's just the reality for us personally. And I felt the need to bring up this issue of how to handle racial differences, because many people are aware of the differences in culture, and they are aware of the differences in what they call, what they exclude to race, but there are also some segmental cultural differences between races as well, because I'll give you a good example. Southern Black people are different than Northern Black people. And so if you lump us all together as far as mentalities and so forth and what we believe in and the way we handle things, and lump us all together, then you can judge a book by its cover and surely be mistaken in any case. But that's just a good example of how our cultural differences are segmented in more than one way. It's just not by race. It's cultural, okay? the Southern culture tend to be by majority. In fact, a lot of it is attributed to the Southern culture to be more hospitable or welcoming type of people, whereas Northern people, and I'm only speaking in either majority or I would say a general aspect. A lot of these things don't apply to everybody, all right? So don't get on here trying to correct me on that, because I'm fully aware that you need to be aware that I am speaking just in general and by majority, all right? We ain't talking about them few little people that's different. Don't come on here with that shit. You know, you got people like Nick Pitt. They think they being so smart and clever with their sarcastic statements, and that's another thing that's culturally different is intellectuals, people that are pretending to be intellectual. They whether they black or white or whatever race, they all, not all, but by majority, generally, ones that pretending to be intellectual, many times they just sound sarcastic assholes. And like I said, they pretending to be intellectual. Because if you really are intellectual, a person don't have to spell out everything they say and be specific with everything they say for you to understand what they're talking about. You know, if you just had your little common sense,